Hello, everyone. I am Krandall Brantley for Buckeyes Daily. It is Purdue week. It's November where it all counts. So let's get into it. First off, I'm going to go by the numbers. Ohio State, their defense, they're ranked number one in total defense, and they're only giving up 6.9 points per game. That's still less than a touchdown and a successful extra point. And that average might go down this week when they play Purdue. That's how great this defense has been playing. And for the offense, total offense numbers doesn't do this offense like they're just like, justice. Like they are averaging, they take the most amount of time at any team in the country, like pre-snap. Like they're wasting as much time as possible pre-snap, and they're averaging the least amount of plays per game. Like they're only averaging slightly over 60 plays per game. And look at this. They're only ranked 30th in the country in yards per game. That is under Texas State, UConn, Air Force, Old Dominion, East Carolina, and James Madison. So that doesn't really tell you the total picture there. And they ran significantly less plays than all the teams ahead of them in yards per game, except for Navy at 492. OSU's at 499, and Navy's at 490. Sorry, Navy is at 499. OSU at 492 for like the amount of plays that they've ran this year so far. Comparison. Let's go with Indiana. Indiana is ranked number 3 in total offense, are running 632 plays. So OSU has ran 140 less plays than Indiana this year. And so with that, if you're gonna do the equation, Indiana's played 9 games, OSU's played 8. So if you count that for 12 games and they keep this average, that would mean that OSU would exactly run 60 less plays than Indiana for the year as an offense and defense, if you add it all up, meaning that OSU, if they were to play in Indy, would go into that game playing like legit one less half football than Indiana. And so it's a marathon, not a sprint. OSU knows this. They understand that things have changed with the expanded playoff, and they're thinking big picture here, and they're getting things rolling. They're probably going to average more plays probably in these next few weeks to get ramped up, but they're still going to have similar pace of play, I believe, until the game and moving forward. Okay, it is Purdue week, and look, OSU has outscored Purdue by a combined 107 points in their last 3 matchups. Like it's been complete domination since 2018 with Purdue won in West Lafayette, and OSU came in that game number 2, undefeated, and Rondell Moore just destroyed them. And I forget the guy's name. He was a student at Purdue, sports media. I believe he had cancer. Rest in peace to him. And he said his last wish, he wanted to see his beloved Purdue beat Ohio State on that night. And so I think that game, to this day, I feel like there was something above that guy was doing his work for that man, and Purdue just destroyed OSU. And I'm like, hey, look, that was not OSU's game, that was Purdue's night. That's how I see that game. I don't even have animosity toward that compared to years other losses that OSU has had. But back to this year, I think OSU's defense has something to prove here. Like I think they're gonna be hungry because Penn State scored twice at 2 touchdowns last week. Even though the other one, second one wasn't really their fault. I think they're gonna be hungry for a shutout and hungry to not let Purdue score a touchdown. And so I expect domination right there. I think Julian Sand get that Heisman campaign rolling even more. The games won't be nationally televised. It'll be Big Ten Network. I think keeps that going. The O line when we tested here, the O line depth will be tested because are some injuries and guys have to step up. And so we were told in the offseason that the depth of this O line is great. We're going to find out a little about that with Purdue this week. And look, Max Clare, he transferred to OSU. He's going back to West Lafayette this weekend. Gotta give him a touchdown. You gotta get him in the end zone for this game. Like that should be happening. That should be a priority. Make that happen. Okay. OSU with initial rankings on Tuesday. They're ranked number one. I know last week I said that was gonna be A&M as number one team because they had wins at Notre Dame and blew out LSU, and I felt like there was going to be a little bit of SEC bias, and they were going to change things up and have A&M number one. And then Saturday happened, second half OSU, Penn State, and you're like, come on, like that is the clear cut number one team. Forget the best win. Like, do the eye test. OSU number one, and that's what the committee did. OSU is number one. It's the third time they've been number one in the initial CFP rankings. 2019, they were number one. 2023, number one, and then now this year. And they didn't win it all the previous 2 years. I have my opinions on 2019. I won't go there today. At on the years they have won, 2024 initial rankings, they were number two because Oregon beat them head to head, so that made sense. And then 2014, y'all remember initial rankings, OSU was ranked 16. They got no respect going into November in that year. They're blowing teams out. Barrett was balling, like he was balling out of control. But they called that Virginia Tech loss against them, and OSU had to blow their teams out, including Michigan State, on the road to even get in the top 10, if you can recall that year. I say that because, look, these games. Nebraska, ASU, and Kansas State were ranked ahead of them in this ranking. Just crazy how that all unfolded, and OSU went on to squeak in the playoff and win it all and prove to be the best team. And so, notable, only two teams have won it all, being initial number one ranking. 2020, Bama in the COVID year, they blew everybody out, including us. And then 2021, Georgia, they were number one initial rankings, and they lost to Bama in the conference finals, but they ended up beating them in a rematch in the Natty. So, and just some notes to keep in mind. I hope all will be played, but it's possible, I think, for OSU to lose number one ranking sometime this month. Like A&M plays Missouri, let's say they blow them out by 30, and OSU doesn't win big against Purdue, or Indiana wins by 50 at Penn State, and the committee says, all right, we're going to give Penn State, Indiana chance to be number one because it was so close. Like that could happen, and that shouldn't bother any OSU fans because it's going to play out because they keep winning. It was going to be a collision course in Indy. And so it's possible that could switch up who's number one at some point in November. But if OSU goes in and they win these games and they beat Michigan, I don't see A&M's, if they say they win at Texas, that being above what OSU did. So let's leave it to OSU and Indiana for the one seed going to the playoff if they keep winning. All right, to the national championship and Big Ten title odds. FanDuel has the Buckeyes as the odds-on favorite to win the national title at plus 220, with Alabama at plus 750, followed by A&M at plus 800, and Oregon at plus 1,000. So the Buckeyes are the clear-cut favorites at this point, and for the Big Ten title odds, it's even better. OSU at minus 145 to win the Big Ten, followed by Indiana at plus 135, and then here we go, Michigan with a plus 1,800, and Oregon at plus 3,000. So I believe that means that the tiebreakers, all these teams have one loss in the Big Ten right now. think Michigan was a tiebreaker over the Oregons and USC's and stuff like that. And what do you know? Like Michigan is quietly having a chance to block our path to Indy again. Yeah, like that can't happen. Nope, that cannot happen this year. Nope, nope. But right now it's Purdue week. Okay, so let's beat Purdue. All right, go Bucks.